Hey guys, today we'll be recapping a new manhwa called A Night of Deep Affection. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Our story begins with our female lead Soo Jin-hwan, gradually stirring awake from her sleep. She's met with a strong headache, but then, she suddenly realizes a male figure in the bathroom and quickly jumps out of bed. She tries to recall the incidents that led her to this position. Last night, she attended a friend's birthday party at a hotel. She accidentally drank from a glass of fruit juice that had alcohol mixed in it, and since she couldn't hold her liquor well, just one drink turned her into a mess. She staggered all the way and bumped into a man, but instead of just apologizing and letting him go, she started making advances. Despite all the man's warnings, she pressed in for a kiss that soon escalated into something more intimate. After the realization hits her that she pounced on the guy, she immediately grabs her underwear, determined to leave quickly. Just then, the guy steps out of the bathroom, catching her off guard, and she quickly goes into hiding. This guy, who we now know as Hwa, just stands there watching her as she warns him not to come closer while she hurriedly puts on her clothes under the blanket. He totally ignores her, heads to a corner, and begins writing something. After he's done, he hands her a check as her payment for the night. Stunned, her eyes widen in shock, making him question if the amount is too little. Soo Jin-hwan immediately grabs her purse and turns the table around, using his exact words on him, and drops a coin on the floor as his payment for sleeping with her. This gesture shocks him to the core, while she angrily storms off, banging the door behind her. And just like that, she lost her virginity, and the guy even thought she was selling herself. Luckily, she's not weak, so she managed to turn the situation around. Now alone, Hwa remarks that Soo Jin-hwan has successfully captured his attention. Subsequently, as she walks out of the hotel, she's lost in thought when a voice suddenly calls out to her, and before she can even turn, she's been pushed into the pool. Trying to open her eyes in the pool, she realizes that it's none other than her half-sister Soo Ching-won who pushed her and starts blaming it on her carelessness. As the other people around begin laughing at Jin-hwan, her sister hypocritically offers her a hand to pull her out of the pool. Jin-hwan pauses for a second before dragging her into the pool and continues, pressing her down despite her plea for help. A moment later, she pulls Ching-won's head up and mentions how her breath was taken away bit by bit. Then she asks how it feels to have her lungs squeezed empty. At this point, the other people standing by begin pressuring Ching-won to hurry and get out of the pool, but Jin-won grips her hair firmly and whispers that she just wants to give her a friendly reminder. With a stern gaze, she warns her not to play such boring and childish tricks in the future, because if there's a next time, her hand might not let go so quickly. Having said this, she walks out of the pool, leaving Ching-won frustrated. As she makes her way with water dripping from her dress, all eyes turn to her in admiration of her beauty. Some people even go as far as questioning if she's a celebrity because of how pretty she looks. She shivers as a result of the cold water, but just then, someone covers her with a jacket. It's Hwa. He remarks that if she wants people to see everything, she should feel free to decline his jacket. With no choice left, she thanks him and promises to return the jacket the next time they meet. To her surprise, he offers to drop her off wherever she's going, but because she's still embarrassed about their encounter last night, she quickly declines. Just as she's about to walk away, he catches her hand and pulls her closer. He begins caressing her lips, making her question what he's about to do, but he replies that her scent is making him restless and tempting him to continue. Slightly irritated, she reminds him that she was drunk last night, and since they're both adults, she won't dwell on it. However, she suggests that it'd be best if they don't get involved any further. Then, she mentions that she has something to take care of before hastily walking away. Along the way, she pauses and adds that it's best if they never meet again, and then she rushes to her taxi. Standing alone, Hwa murmurs to himself, noting the coincidence of her surname being Soo. Meanwhile, inside the taxi, Jin-hwan requests that the driver take her to the central hospital. Now at the hospital, she tries to make payments, but she's shocked to learn that her card has insufficient funds. Shocked, she requests that the receptionist try the card again, but she still gets the same feedback. To be sure, she decides to check her account balance, only to discover that it's empty. So she begins thinking to herself, when her grandfather passed away, he clearly set up a foundation for her that provides her with living expenses every month. In addition, her younger brother has to take medicine for his leukemia every day, and if he were to stop his treatment, the consequences would be unthinkable. "You've really crossed the line," she asserts, with her brows furrowed. Much later, she arrives home and asks for her father, but the maid informs her that he's currently receiving guests in the library. Before she can even finish her statement, Jinhwan starts heading to the library, but her stepmother abruptly blocks her on the way. She reiterates that her father is in the study discussing business with an important guest, so Jinhwan shouldn't bother him and return to her room. Angered, she orders her stepmother out of her way and insists that she has something important she needs to discuss with her father. But her stepmother declines and says that she should wait until her father is done and tell him then. With a wry smile, she asks her stepmom if she thinks she can stop her from going in. And just as she raises her hand to hit her, Jinhwan holds her and begins squeezing her hand. She dares her to hit her while her stepmom continuously rains curses on her. At that moment, her father steps out, reminding them that there's an important guest in the study and reprimanding them for the commotion they're causing. Her stepmom begins complaining that she had already explained that he was meeting an important guest in the study, but Jinhwan insists on going in. With a fierce look, she turns to her father and asks if he's the one who put a stop to the living expenses she's been receiving from the foundation, and also explains that she needs the money to pay for her little brother's treatment. "What does that bastard child have to do with me? Your mother had him after she remarried, so why should I care whether he lives or dies?" her father asks, yelling. He also adds that she already graduated and is capable of supporting herself, so he decided to suspend her living allowance. She angrily responds that she doesn't need him to care about her brother's life, she just wants what belongs to her. As the argument continues, Jinhwan approaches with a cup in hand, reminding Jinhwan that they have guests at home and if they see her making a scene like this, it'll bring shame to the family. Her father then asserts that she shouldn't bother saying more because his mind is made up and it won't change. In addition, Jinhwan mentions that the foundation will stop issuing her living expenses henceforth, and it'll remain that way until she changes. Suddenly, Jinhwan fakes a bump and spills the content of the cup on Jinhwan. They immediately lock eyes and Jinhwan realizes that it was a deliberate act by her sister. As if that's not enough drama, Jinhwan begins her fake apology, but it's already too late because Jinhwan already has a burn on her hand. Almost immediately, a voice approaching the scene requests for burn cream. She looks up and realizes that it's no other than Hualichan, her one-night stand from yesterday. Before she can say another word, he leans in and holds her hand, still requesting the burn cream. As the scene unfolds, Jinhwan starts putting on her fake sweet act, but Jinhwan doesn't buy it. She firmly says that only Jinhwan knows whether it was really an accident or not. Still, Jinhwan keeps going, claiming she didn't do it on purpose and even says Jinhwan can hit her if she doesn't believe her. Without hesitation, Jinhwan steps forward and slaps her hard. Their parents try to scold her for hitting her sister, but Jinhwan calmly reminds them that Jinhwan offered her face and begged to be hit, she simply gave her what she asked for. Standing her ground, Jinhwan boldly tells her father that she truly needs the money. She says she doesn't want a fight, but if it comes to that, she's ready to take legal action. After saying that, she turns to Hualichan, apologizes for staining his jacket, and promises to wash it before returning it. Then, she walks away. Her father awkwardly asks Hualichan if he knows his daughter, Jinhwan, and the young man calmly replies that they've been intimately acquainted, then walks off as well. Fuming with rage, Jinhwan curses Jinhwan silently. Clenching her fists, she tells herself that Jinhwan shouldn't think Hualichan belongs to her just because he slept with her. She even goes as far as swearing that since childhood, she's always gotten everything she's ever wanted. Now outside, Hualichan walks up to Jinhwan, prompting her to ask what he wants. He simply replies that she's in her own home, and asks what she thinks he could possibly do. She stretches out her hand, asking him to just give her the burn ointment, but he insists on applying it himself. They start to argue, and she complains about how overbearing he is. Instead of apologizing, he wraps an arm around her waist and says he's only overbearing with certain people. As if that's not enough, he lifts her into his arms despite all her protests and carries her into another room. When he sets her down on the bed, she warns him not to try anything stupid or she won't go easy on him. He keeps teasing her just to get on her nerves, but after a moment, his tone shifts. He gets serious and tells her that the next time anyone dares to treat her like that, he won't let them off. Then, he begins to gently apply the ointment. As he applies the ointment, she watches him closely and can't help but notice how ridiculously handsome he looks when he's being serious. Unbeknownst to them, Ching-wan is secretly watching from the shadows, furious that the two of them are together. Once Hua-Lichin finishes helping, he tells Jin-hwan to get some rest after everything that happened last night. She quickly warns him to stop bringing it up. He mentions that he has work to do and is heading out, which makes her visibly pleased. But just as she thinks he's finally gone, he pauses at the door and introduces himself. The moment she hears the name Hua-Lichin, it strikes a chord. It sounds so familiar, and she tries to remember where she's heard it before.